Well, another visit over. I can't help but think that this feels more like coming home than last Saturday did. The person I am at home is a lie, a happy face I put on to comfort my parents. They don't know all the things that have happened to me. The dungeons, the dangers, the monsters. They don't know that I'm married or that I'll be divorced before I'm 18. And I can't entirely understand the things they talk about. A space shuttle failed. There's a war going on halfway around the world. I never heard about any of this at school. More and more, we become disconnected. Tuesday is April Fool's Day, and I decide to take Blue Magic class, knowing that Professor Grabiner would not be one to tolerate any April Fool's pranks. In class, I learn the spell Shield. It costs 30 mana to perform, and while the effect lasts, the caster cannot be affected by other spells. After class, as I am headed back to my room, Professor Grabiner seeks me out in the halls. If I might have a word? Of course, I reply. After you. He gestures to a nearby door with almost believable politeness, and for a moment I wonder if he wants to congratulate me for doing so well in blue magic, considering that Shield was the last blue magic spell that we were allowed to learn at the freshman year level. However, that does not seem to be the case. As you are unfamiliar with the local customs, and I have been unable to locate Miss Cochrane, I should inform you of an upcoming event. The first storm of the month of April is celebrated with a thunder call. As soon as a storm picks up sufficient strength, no matter the time of day, all students must gather in the gym. As officers, it falls on you to ensure that the members of your class are notified and rounded up. Okay, that sounds simple enough. What do we do once we get there? The purpose of the rite is to cause exhaustion and headaches through drumming, wild gyrations, and screaming at the top of one's lungs. I can't help but smirk. I take it this isn't your favorite ritual. Custom is the king of all. He smiles a bit. I am, however, grateful that a few minutes of applause is considered sufficient contribution on my part. As a class officer, particularly one under the sign of Horsehall, you will be expected to make a much more public showing. So, I have to learn a dance? I don't know how to tell him that I'm not much of a dancer. There is no formalized pattern. Leap and stomp as you wish. That will suffice. It is also important that you maintain order among the underclassmen. Freshmen are not, under any circumstances, to attempt fire spinning. I consider this a moment. How do you spin fire? You do not. I flush. Right. If you have no further questions, you may be on your way. What's the purpose of this thunder dance, anyway? Is it supposed to summon more thunderstorms? No. It celebrates the force that is already there and affirms the kinship between our magic and the shining powers. The intent is to demonstrate strength without aggression or fear. That can be a wise approach for dealing with unknown intelligent creatures. Wait, are thunderstorms created by spirit creatures then? Not always, but often. It rarely has anything to do with those of us on the ground. If you had chosen the California school, you would know more about the affairs of dragons. I nod my head and decide to venture into a slightly more personal topic. Did you have a nice spring break? He arches an eyebrow. I beg your pardon? Your vacation, I repeat. Did you enjoy it? I suppose it was pleasant. He clearly wasn't expecting this line of inquiry, but it seems he is willing to indulge me all the same. Did you read anything interesting? Actually, I spent the week in Destin, on a beach. My face goes scarlet. Really? He chuckles. April Fools. I pinch my lips shut to try and keep from giggling like an idiot, but that only leaves me with a most unflattering snort. I never expected a joke from him. Well, I hope you had more fun with whatever you were doing. You probably had more fun than I did at home. He frowns. You are having difficulties at home? Not exactly. I just feel out of place there. It's strange to be telling this to someone, especially him. He's not exactly my friend, but he did ask. I've never been away from home this much before. I didn't know how much would change. It's like they're moving on without me, or I'm moving on without them. I'm not sure. He nods solemnly. It is a common difficulty for students of wild seed origin. You may not be aware, but students like yourself are often given the option of living at the school full time. Actually, Professor Potsdam already tried to invite me to stay. You might consider it, he offers. It can be for the best. Of course, he has no idea what Professor Potsdam was really suggesting I do with my vacation. I hesitate. I wouldn't want you to cause... I just don't want to cause you any trouble. He closes his eyes and smiles to himself. You are not entirely troublesome. My mouth falls open and I blink stupidly, feeling my face getting redder by the second. I shake my head to try to get my face under control. On your way, then. I'm sure you have your studies to attend to. I smile up at him before I turn and quickly make my way out into the hall. Well, that didn't go too badly. Professor Grabiner took a deep breath in and let it out. He made her laugh. He made her smile. It almost astounded him that just making her feel better made him feel better, but he considered that perhaps it was better not to question his feelings or examine them too closely. He wanted to offer her private lessons. She had finished all the blue magic spells that they taught to freshmen, and Tori didn't seem all that fond of red magic. He could keep making excuses to try to seek her out to talk to her about her treasury duties, but perhaps this one-on-one time would be just what they needed to get to know one another better. She had started to open up to him. He wasn't a fan of listening to other students' personal problems, but he knew firsthand how lonely Tori had been over Christmas break, and a part of him couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to spend a holiday with another person. Thanksgiving wasn't a holiday he celebrated, but Christmas. What would it be like to celebrate Christmas with someone? He had never celebrated Christmas growing up. What would it be like to spend the day with someone? To spend weeks fussing over the perfect present to give them? He didn't know, and perhaps he had been too lonely for too long, but he wanted to find out. He wanted to get Tori a gift so thoughtful her face would light up when she saw it. Wanted to see the look in her eyes when... These were not thoughts he should be entertaining. Summer vacation was not upon them, and perhaps she would cast off her childish affection for him over the sojourn. Perhaps, or perhaps not. Only time would tell, he supposed.